Good morning, everyone. My name is Jim Tackett, and I'm Executive Director of Forward in the Fifth. On behalf of Forward in the Fifth's Board of Directors, I would like to take this opportunity to welcome you to the Center for Rural Development this morning for our Education Leadership Day. We thank each of you for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us, and we especially are appreciative of Congressman Rogers for joining us this morning as well. Today's agenda will highlight the work of you and your colleagues across our great region as we continue to advance education. Forward in the Fifth is pleased to recognize individuals and groups who have gone above and beyond the call of duty to improve educational excellence within the region. The work each of you perform on a daily basis is so important in helping to raise the expectations and outcomes Appalachia can certainly attain without any doubt. In fact, it is the other parts of the Commonwealth and nation that should be gathered with us this morning so these lessons can be publicized and implemented on a larger scale. You should and must be proud of these major accomplishments. We will begin this morning by announcing our 2012 Appalachian Leaders in Education, or AppLE, award winners. While education oftentimes plays second and third fiddle to many other careers and interests, the truth of the matter is that this profession can have one of the most profound impacts on an individual. When a person understands the power and unlimited possibilities of lifelong learning, the sky is the limit. Each of this year's nominees in one of our four categories has and continues to change lives and the communities due to their commitment and compassion. So if you'll pause for me just a moment as we uncover our awards, we'll begin to deliver those this morning. Our first AppLE Award is given to an individual who unequivocally views education as a solution to nearly every challenge. This individual has tirelessly preached the importance of obtaining an education from a personal and community perspective. Knowing firsthand that a diploma may not allow you to stay within your community initially, it can become the ticket in which one can use to return to his or her community and make tremendous impact for generations. Without this AppLE Award and its recipient, the remaining ones would be nearly impossible to garner. It is with great pleasure that Forward in the Fifth awards the 2012 AppLE Visionary Leader Award to Congressman Hal Rogers. Our next AppLE Award winner is no stranger to the educational system in Kentucky. When things look dismal and require additional work, some might choose the path of least resistance. That is not the case here. This individual gladly embraced the opportunity to lead a regional high school out of a less than pleasant situation. Classified by the No Child Left Behind federal legislation as a persistently low-achieving school, this educator has worked tirelessly to improve students' confidence in themselves, their school, and their community. Under this leadership, student ACT and graduation rates have risen upward. Community leaders have been invited to visit the school, have lunch with students, and learn what they can do to support education in their home county. While I'm unsure where this leader finds the time to weave into her schedule, she conducts cooking classes for students and opens her home to them for a dance and social enrichment activity as well. The 2012 AppLE Educator Award is given to Ms. Kelly Bell, principal of Metcalfe County High School. One who knows anything about education would be the last to say that student achievement is primarily the role of the school. While one of the school's primary roles in our society is to instruct and provide optimal opportunities for learning to occur, communities must stay relevant to encourage our young minds to take education seriously. Our next award winner does just that. Desiring to give back to the schools and community which provided so much for him, he is now returning the favor. In a world that continues to change and become more advanced, this recipient has established an opportunity for high school students to enroll in dual credit classes in partnership with the University of Pikeville. Students in Pike County are able to take more challenging and rigorous courses while in high school and obtain college credit as well. This is all done at no cost to the students. His philanthropy also is directed to the elementary level to keep students engaged in their educational endeavor. It is obvious that this community leader understands education is more than the responsibility of the school. Ford and the Fifth would like to honor Elkhorn City pharmacist and resident Rob Lester as its 2012 AppLE Community Leader Award winner. Unfortunately, Mr. Lester was unable to join us due to some extenuating circumstances, so we will make sure that he receives the award and understands that he was congratulated by the group this morning. The role of the family, and more importantly, parents, are crucial in the success of our education system. Oftentimes deemed as children's first teacher, it is the values and importance placed on learning that forms the foundation in one's life. Actions displayed by mothers and fathers many times speak louder than words. Our 2012 AppLE Parent Awardee volunteers her time so not only her child benefits from her labors, but the masses. Following this person around, one might think that he or she is a full-time school employee. The countless hours expended in fundraising efforts and as an assistant speech coach in both the middle and high school programs are commendable. However, the work does not stop there. This individual also can be found coordinating the Hazard Perry County School soccer leagues on a weekly basis to ensure the smooth transition of the extracurricular activities. Her individual sacrifices are often overshadowed by the accomplishments of the young people she is assisting. Welcome me in recognizing Ms. Michelle Combs from Perry County as our winner of the parent category this year. Our final award category will recognize a student for their commitment to education. This young person is a great ambassador for our region and the work accomplished by our career and technical education programs. Experiencing firsthand the impact of these courses and extracurricular opportunities have had in her life, she is not shy about sharing this information. Now serving in her second term as the statewide Future Business Leaders of America president, there are ample chances for her conversations to be had with peers and adults alike. In fact, her passion and experiences took her to Frankfurt recently to testify before the House and Senate committees on the difference such programs make. We may want to take some lessons from the Estill County native when it comes to promoting and advancing education in our region. Please join me in welcoming Ms. Abbey Alexandra Witt as our final 2012 AppLE Student Award winner. I think that each of you will agree with me that this year's AppLE Award winners are positively impacting our region in education across Appalachia. Let's give them one more round of applause. It was 26 years ago that Ford and the Fifth was created to improve the educational progress and outcomes of southern and eastern Kentucky. Schools, communities, and individuals have been called during that time to work together across the region to help us reach our full potential. Congressman Rogers challenged key stakeholders across the region to immediately begin work in solving the educational discrepancy of this grave problem in the 1980s. Educators, community leaders, businesses, and parents rolled their sleeves up and began to address some of these big challenges faced within the region. If you know Congressman Hal Rogers at all, you know of his great passion, dedication, and love for his region and Kentucky. This love was once fostered at a very early age in his home county of Wayne. Getting his education in a rural setting, the young high school graduate had to leave his home county to a more rural, more urban setting to start his career. Determined to keep one of the region's most valuable resources in the hills, the congressman coined a phrase early in his legislative career that no young person should ever have to leave his or her home to find his or her future. He has remained concerned and steadfast in his efforts to ensure that opportunities are present for this group to become successful leaders without exiting. In his 16th congressional term, Hal is the longest-serving Kentucky Republican ever elected to federal office. Previously serving on the House Energy and Commerce Committee, the House Budget Committee, and numerous caucuses, he's now chairman of the House Appropriations Committee. In this task, he has the unimaginable responsibility of crafting a realistic budget in advancing our country, but also keeping us within our means. The list could go on. I'm proud to say that this tremendous visionary leader is able to join us today. Please welcome me in saying good morning to Congressman Hal Rogers.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Jim, thank you for the nice introduction. Good morning to all of you. Welcome to the center, and congratulations to those of you who have been recognized and your colleagues that are with you from your home region. This is a huge region we're talking about. The Fifth is a big area. It's now 30 counties, and as you know, stretches from Monticello on this side down here all the way almost to Ashland on the east end, bordering 3 states, Tennessee, of course, Virginia and West Virginia, and almost Ohio. So it is a large region that you come from, and I appreciate many of you traveling a long distance to get here. So welcome, and thanks for being here. And I'm proud to be a part of this celebration that you're putting on, Education Leadership Day. So much of what we do across our region, whether it's economic development or fighting drug abuse or cleaning up the region or what have you, leads back to education and strong leadership, which this organization, I hope, is fostering throughout our region. A former presidential candidate in the 1940s, Wendell Willkie, said, "Education is the mother of leadership." And I think all of us could agree with that candidate, who lost, by the way, by a huge landslide. Nevertheless, what he said was true. Educators are some of the strongest leaders across our region, thank goodness, and they're certainly the closest mentors that our students have access to. There's an old Chinese proverb, "Tell me, and I'll forget. Show me, I may remember. Involve me, and I'll understand. Forward in the Fifth and the Center for Rural Development have done an outstanding job of involving local businesses, local institutions, local civic clubs, with education, connecting students with community mentors for showing opportunities to help bridge the gap between the classroom and the office or the factory. Getting involved is the key to education. It's paid off with both the Unite and the Pride programs that we have started here. They would not have succeeded, even gotten off the ground, without the involvement of students, teachers, the business community, but especially educators, people who understand the importance of those programs to our region. When you pick up trash on the side of the road, it makes you think twice about throwing another piece of plastic or piece of paper out the window. I'll not forget the county judge over in Casey County telling about one of the pickup groups they had out picking up trash, cleaning up an old dump over the hillside, and he noticed this very elderly man out there picking up trash. And he approached him and said, why are you involved in this? He said, you're getting to be older and your life may not be long, and yet here you are picking up trash to make your community look better. Why are you doing this? The old man said, you see the little girl right over there picking up trash, 6 or 7 year old girl? And the judge said, yeah, I see her. Why? He said, that's my granddaughter. And the trash she's picking up is trash I threw out. And I'll never do that again. And tears streamed down his cheeks as he said so. Involved, taking part. When you witness a drug court graduation, which I do occasionally, it opens your heart to the hope of rehabilitating a lost generation. We've got a horrendous drug problem, not just us, it's the whole country. But you've made a difference. You've said, we admit we've got a problem. Most people don't do that. But you faced up to it and you laid that ugly problem on the top of the table and you said, look at it, how ugly it is. We've got it and we're going to get rid of it. And through the Unite anti-drug campaign, you are. But in those drug court graduations where addicts are being cured and they, upon graduation, come to a graduation ceremony in front of the world, group of leaders gathered in the courthouse, and they each one testify about their problem, how they got into it, how they're getting out of it, and how their hope is restored. And it's refreshing, almost nerve-shattering to hear one of those former drug addicts who's been cured by this drug court program turn to the judge and say, Judge, you saved my life. Go to one time. You'll be moved by it. But it's working because you're involved. In the same way, when we get involved with our young people, help them to make it to graduation or get an internship or scholarship, we realize the impact it has on the stability of our workforce and recruiting businesses to our region. As Jim said, when I was in high school and afterwards in Wayne County, graduated from high school, there was just nothing to do. There was no opportunities in town or in the county. And like my father before me, who migrated to an older brother who had a job in Akron, Ohio at Firestone Tire and Rubber Company, I went to Cincinnati following an older brother looking for a job. He was working at Formica, and I pounded the pavements, Continental Can and Formica and all those companies in those days in Cincinnati. Well, I think I was 17 or maybe barely 18. It was a recession on. I couldn't get a job. And so I came back home and worked in radio and then went on to college. But the point is, we're still there. We're still having to export our best and brightest to another region. You know, I'm happy for Ypsilanti, Michigan. You know, they got a lot of former Kentuckians. And they built civic centers, and they built great parks, and they built up Ypsilanti. But I want those people back here helping us build southern and eastern Kentucky, where they really want to be. I didn't want to leave. And our young people don't want to leave. They want to stay here where they know people, where their kinfolk are. They like the streams and the roads and the highways and the fish and the lakes and the beauty of Kentucky. And yet we are forcing them, forced labor, if you will, to leave home. And that's what Forward in the Fifth was designed to try to help stem, was the outmigration, the forced outmigration of these beautiful, wonderful people that you are educating at great expense, and yet you get no economic benefit from because they're doing Ypsilanti, Michigan, a big favor. And so we want our best and brightest to be able to get their college degrees and then come back to their home region, not stay in Lexington or Louisville or Cincinnati or wherever, come back here and help us in developing our region. At the center here, there are headquartered 3 programs that focus on that mission alone. Rogers Scholars, Rogers Explorers, and the Entrepreneurial Leadership Institute. And those programs involve your best and brightest from your schools. A short summer tour with us. Most of them say in later years that it changed the course of their life. It's hard to imagine that that program is now, 12 years old or so. And some of those graduates are now doctors and lawyers and so forth. It's really amazing to see what those things have done. Rogers Scholars now have access to scholarships to some 15 different universities or colleges in the state, and 1 in Tennessee. So if you're a part of those programs, you're automatically given those scholarships. And so it's a great recruiting tool. Students in those programs visit college campuses and shadow local business leaders. This is how we make a difference. It's how you make a difference, and that's getting involved one-on-one with students and opening windows of opportunity that they would not otherwise have, to open the windows to the future for them and let them see a much bigger and better place that they can help create. I want to commend Forward in the Fifth for implementing the new LEAP program, Local Education Affiliate Program. It extends the reach of Forward in the Fifth through educators, business leaders, volunteers with the same mission. It empowers our communities to come up with solutions for specific problems that impact them the most. For example, a county with literacy problems can create incentives for reading and comprehension exercises. A county with a high dropout rate can create programs to promote staying in school and rally community involvement, much like Clay County, where the dropout rate is showing vast improvement due to this exercise. The idea is to share those ideas and solutions with other counties that are experimenting with similar problems. I'm a great believer in regionalism. Kentucky has too many counties because they're poor, for the most part, and they can't afford to do things that other larger areas can afford to do. And so if we unite together, if we sort of form common bonds like we are here, we'll be able to afford staff and programs that otherwise we wouldn't be able to afford. And probably more importantly, we'll begin to learn from each other. What works over here will also work over here if you just know about it. And this is the place where that cross-fertilization is aimed to take place here at the center across the 42 counties that it covers. But the most important thing for you and me and everyone else, whatever you're doing, is to do it with purpose. Be driven by deep motivations. purposeful. I'm reminded of Sir Christopher Wren, great English architect who built so many historic, wonderful buildings in England especially, but also other places. He was tasked with rebuilding St. Paul Cathedral after the fire of 1666 nearly destroyed London. One day, Sir Christopher Wren was on the site, and he approached some of the bricklayers, some of the stone layers, and asked each one in turn what they were doing. The first one said, I'm working to make a living. The second one said, you see, I'm carving these stones to make a wall. Both of those were true. But the third one said with purpose, I'm building a cathedral for the Almighty. Purpose. And all of those answers I'm sure you hear in variations to people you approach about their livelihood or what they're doing to make the world a better place. Are you just making a living? Are you fixing a piece of stone to where it fits another stone to make a wall? Or are you doing something significant? And that's why purpose is so meaningful. Now, there's two people I want to close down here with recognizing for purposeful lives. They fit the stones together. They made a living. But the important thing is they were doing something bigger. They were, in effect, building a cathedral of teaching young people to how to live and why to live. And so Coach Lee Rose and his wife Eleanor dedicated people of purpose. Since 2004, this dynamic duo have visited at least one school in each of the 42 counties within Forward in the Fifth service area, inspiring 11,000 students to stay in school. Now, they didn't have to do this. You see, Lee Rose is one of the great coaches in the history of the nation. We've all heard of Coach Lee Rose, Transylvania University. Only one of 12 coaches to lead two different schools to the NCAA Final Four. And yet, one of his proudest accomplishments is the work that he and Eleanor do together, encouraging our young people across southern and eastern Kentucky to stay in school. I've got a little award that I like to give occasionally to people that I think are making a difference. And I call it the Making the Difference Award, person making a difference. And I'm going to ask that both Lee and Eleanor come forward and let us do a little bit of recognizing of the great work that these two people are doing in their life in our region for us. Would you come forward, Coach and Eleanor?
I just want to say that we're totally shocked. I'm totally shocked and deeply honored. Thank you.
Sir, if you knew me as well as Jim did, you would never turn the microphone over to me. We are really thrilled and so happy to receive these awards. And so many things that you've said ring true to us as we travel throughout the state. And there were three things that we tried to do in building confidence, self-confidence in the students. And saying, I don't have to quit. I can do it. And the second thing we tried to do was to demonstrate that in life, you have to have connections. Everybody is put on the stump by somebody else. And you do that as a young person. I had the opportunity to coach a team, coached for 50 years, took a team to Europe for the FIBA International Games in Switzerland. And when you take a team for the United States out of the country to compete, the way they do that is you as a coach submit a list of names of players you'd like to take. And then they tell you which ones you get. So we got a list of our players. And there was one player listed, and it said you must talk to the coach if you want this player to play for you in these games. So called the coach, and I talked to him. And he said, I'll let my player go under one condition. And that condition is that you never start him. And I said, okay, we'll do that. So we start practice. And during practice, there's no question that he's the best player we have. He was an outstanding basketball player. So we go to Switzerland and begin playing the game, and he never starts the whole time he's there. He would come up before practice, and he would say, Coach, every day he did this. He came to me and he says, Coach, is there anything I can do to help you? And I might give him a chore, and I might not. But throughout the entire games, 10 or 12 games that we played, he never started. His coach was Dean Smith, and the player was Michael Jordan. And Jordan never started, but he made contacts that will last a lifetime. And the children that we talked to we said, don't be afraid to make contacts with your teachers, with your administrators, your counselors, your coaches, your politicians, whoever. Don't be afraid. If you want to advance, help yourself. Because all of this, for all of us, is about one thing, and that's choices in life. And we want to make the best choices we can. Abraham Lincoln said, you never stood taller than you would bend over to help a child. I believe that.
Congressman Rogers, thank you for your service to our region, Commonwealth, and nation. Thank you for your continued vision of who we can become, and thank you for your challenges to us so progress can continue. I would also like to say congratulations and special thank you to Coach Rose and his wife Eleanor for their unwavering support for advancing education in Appalachia. I'm certain that this organization would not be where it is without their dedication. They are true ambassadors of the region and are without a doubt difference makers. Let's express our appreciation to them one more time. The second task this morning is to highlight the work of several of Ford and the Fifth's LEAP, or Local Education Affiliate Programs. LEAP identifies willing individuals in a given county to recognize critical education-related challenges, pose viable solutions, and pool enthusiasm, energy, and resources to advance those educational outcomes. Each LEAP program has the freedom to tackle some of education's toughest issues based on its needs and concerns. Similar affiliate programs have shown tremendous success during previous years in Ford and the Fifth's organizings. It is this grassroots approach that Congressman Rogers envisioned 26 years ago that will truly raise Southern and Eastern Kentucky to the level we are proud of. Our task at hand now is to continue to improve education for the people in Southern and Eastern Kentucky. This morning, we want to recognize 8 communities who have committed and stepped up to the plate in collaborating with their local partners to raise the educational bar. I encourage you to listen to these ideas and take these ideas back with you to your communities and implement in only the way that your community can and chooses. In your program, you actually will see a listing. We are going to break for about 5 minutes and allow folks to, our presenters, to set up. We will have 2 short sessions in this room. We will have 2 short sessions in the room adjoining us, a smaller room. But we're going to have 3 of our local affiliates over the last 15 months talk briefly about their program, their progress, their challenges, and I will pose to you to ask them questions as well. You will have an opportunity to hear from 3 of them. The 4th one you will actually hear from is Mr. Chuck Coldiron, who is a local businessman here, and he actually is not a LEAP program of Ford and the Fifth, but has worked very closely with the Center and Ford and the Fifth to impact literacy in this community. And Mr. Coldiron will share his vision, the reason why he finds this to be so important, mission to improve education in this given community. Each presenter will have 20 minutes to share with you their program. And once we rotate through those 2, you will have an opportunity to attend 2 of the 4. Then others, and those included, will go to the lobby, and where we have a gallery walk, and you get an opportunity to actually ask additional questions of the communities, things you like, things you maybe didn't understand in that short time frame. And each table will have a 1-page synopsis of that program. So it's an opportunity for you to take back to your communities something tangible that you can follow up with those individuals if you have additional questions. And we encourage you this to be the seed that is planted for us to continue to move education forward in the region. I would also ask you to note on your programs the 2 sessions that are denoted as ballrooms C and D actually will be D, and it's right next door to us. And we encourage you to attend those. At the conclusion in the lobby, each of you were given a red ticket. When we complete our gallery walk, we're going to ask you to pull those tickets out, and we have a few giveaways that we're going to draw for, and hopefully if you're present, you will be one of the folks that walk away with that. So without any further ado, we appreciate your opportunity and your willingness to join us today and continue the great work that is happening in the region. And we look forward to receiving nominations from each of you next year for our 2013 AppLE Awards, and look forward to hearing about the great things that are happening in your communities. Thank you very much.